I'm from Sacramento, so just a little bit up the way, and I was on the LGBT Center board up there, and I know the important work that the source is doing, especially in a community that is not always friendly to queer people. And so we immediately knew this was going to be very near and dear to our hearts. And so they kept describing themselves as a beacon. They talked about growing up here. They talked about what it would have meant to have a center as they were growing up, to kind of show them they weren't alone, to show them what the possibilities for their life could be. And so we wanted to make that sense of being a beacon literal and vibrant and sort of visible for miles around, because that's the community they serve. They're the only place to come for miles around. And so in Sacramento, we have something called the beam. So when the Kings win a home game, they light the beam and it shoots a laser cannon into the sky. So we're like, why don't we take that and move it to the Central Valley and gay it up? Like when we thought of this idea, we knew that it would be magnificent. And it would also be something very exciting in a community that doesn't always see a lot of attention or visibility. And we knew that there would be a lot of haters potentially. But the amount of people that came out of their cars, there was a line of like 30 cars outside the center. There was a family that said they turned off the freeway. They weren't even going to Visalia, and they came just to check it out. And you could see when you were talking to the kids, like, that this just expanded the window of what they thought was possible. And so when I think about being a kid who's queer, who's growing up in Visalia now, who sees a center, who sees the work that Brian and Nick are doing, who went away and came back home to create a better community for them, it's hard not to be emotional. To think, especially at a time where so many of us are in fear, we're seeing so many of these protections and so much hateful rhetoric directed at our community. Something like the Gleam lighting up for 3 nights can really be the difference between someone who wants to still be here and who doesn't. And that is the most kind of meaningful work we could ever do.